Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, it's been so long since I've talked about this topic that I need to do a video on it. I'm going to talk about how to build a 7-second campaign farmer, and I'm going to give you 2 ways to do it. Campaign farming is like the lifeblood of any account. I realized that even on my main account, even though I don't want to do campaign anymore on my main account, because I don't need to, I still have to win 500 battles per month. Yeah, this silly old mission in here to stop me getting my sacred shard is literally holding me up for my sacred for the other video I want to do today, which is pulling sacred shards. So it made me think, like, how long has it been since we've really spoken about this? And, you know, what could we do with a new champion, perhaps Artak, to make this very easy? So there's a couple of things. Like, firstly, if you're going to be farming in campaign, the ideal place to get yourself to is Brutal, Stage 12, and then Level 3. Why is that? So firstly, Brutal gets you to a point where you start to earn good experience per run. Yeah, so you get nice experience in Stage 12 on Brutal to level up your champions. And then Stage 3, well, shields just sell for more than any other item. So if you are looking to get a decent return for silver for your energy, as well as leveling champions at a decent rate, Stage 12-3 is the place to be. Interestingly, when I was like leveling up as a free-to-play, this is something I didn't even know until this year for my free-to-play account. If you want to be super efficient as you're getting to Stage 12-3 Brutal, and you're kind of working your way there, I used to say, look, just farm as far up as you can get. Like if you're on Palace of Arabia on Brutal, then farm Stage 12-3 there. Sorry, 6-3 there. But actually, it's better to go back to hard and farm 12-3 on hard than it is to kind of like just work your way through. So this is a good stopping point. And then if you're an end game player like I am on my main, then you can actually farm Stage 12-6 in Nightmare, and that will just give you the best experience per run. So if you're straight up just looking to level champions, this is the best experience per energy. The trouble is, it's damn hard to do, but Artak can do it. So Artak, our free hero right now, can do this alongside about another 7 or 8 others. So, but for this video, we're going to concentrate on Stage 12-3. I will say as well, like if you don't need to do campaign battles and you're able to, growing food in dungeons whilst gaining items and silver in dungeons is a better option. But most of us can't do that. I've done a bunch of kind of like solo builds for Artak to do that as well. But Stage 12-3 is the way to go. Generally in Stage 12-3, you have a lot of spirit champions, which means that magic champions are very strong here. So most people look for a magic farmer or a void farmer. Also, this is something that's really important. Like if you're looking to know what you're up against, you could come to hellhades.com. On the homepage here, hover over the Raid Shadow Legends, go to the Raid Stages tool. This is a free tool for anyone to use. And then you can decide like what you want to fight. So we're looking at campaign today, and we're looking at Brimstone Path, which is the final area. And we want to farm Stage 12-3 Brutal. What it'll do is it'll tell us what enemies we're facing. So we've got 1 force affinity here. Then the rest of the enemies are spirits. There's 1 champion that's going to be an anti-Artak in terms of affinity. The other thing that's important is to look at their speeds. So look at this. Everyone under 100. Everyone under 100. And then you've just got Lord Shazar that's at 101 speed. So basically what we want to do, we even need to go faster than them all and nuke in 1 shot, or we need to go twice the speed of everybody and get 2 hits. That's the kind of 2 ways that you can go for your campaign farmer build. And let's show you that today. I guess once I've shown you this build, I'll just call out some of the best campaign farmers in the game. But Artak, I think, is going to be up there. So firstly, we need to get our masteries in order. Now, campaign farming is a bit of an interesting one because you want consistency with campaign farming. You don't want bouncy damage. So something like Helm Smasher, which is a 50-50 chance to land, you don't really want to kind of, you know, run the risk of a 50-50. So actually what you tend to do with a campaign farmer, if this is purely their job, is we take crit rate, crit damage. We take Whirlwind of Death, because we're going to be killing stuff, which makes us move faster. That means that we only actually need to go faster than 100 speed for Lord Shazar, because we're going to have extra speed when we get there. We take Ruthless Ambush, which gives us more damage on our first hit. We take Heart of Glory, gives us more damage when we are full HP. We want to get back over to here, because we're going to be attacking people with higher max HP than us. Let's just check that. So the HP of our targets, actually, that's not true. In most PvE, that is true. But these guys have got super low HP, if these numbers are right. Is that right? So we only need to get the equivalent of 20,000, 22,000 damage to one-shot these fellas. Okay, cool. Good to know. So that one's actually not going to be relevant. So I guess then we would go... This one's important. Cycle of Violence. So if you do more than 30% of someone's health in a one-shot... So we take Wrath of the Slain just in case our food does die, but it probably won't because we're trying to one-shot these enemies. But generally that's a good one as a just in case. We're going to want to get to Flawless Execution for the extra 20% crit damage. We're not going to be debuffed. We're not going to need shields, but we've got to get down there. So it's basically just choose one or the other. This one, I guess, is probably more likely to be relevant in other content as well. So we'll take Stoke to Fury, and then Flawless Execution gives us an extra 20% crit damage. You've got a couple of options on the left-hand side here as well, just behind me. So you can either go Methodical if you've got someone like a Fellhound, who's just going to be A1 in all the time. Just gets you a little bit more damage. But for most people, you're going to want to go Kill Streak. As you kill stuff, you do more damage. And this is a pretty standard tree for this type of build, honestly. It's just probably the best build you're going to run. As I say, some people might go into Helm Smasher. That's if you're trying to do like a dual build between campaign farming and arena, really. Because Helm Smasher is a great ability, but you want consistency of guaranteed crit damage for your campaign farmer. The secondary trees is totally up to you, depending on the champion you're using. So if you've got someone like our Artak here, who's going to be trying to land burns in other content, then you probably want to grab these accuracy lines. You might want to grab the extra turn meter fill for when debuffs wear off. I think I will prefer that. You can grab more stats with Laura Steel if you happen to use a lot of like stat-based gear, like Perception gear, Speed gear. You can also run Evil Eye, which will push turn meter back, which might just give you an easier avenue to get those extra hits in. If you go Laura Steel, which I think is the preference, you can then decide where you're going to go. So again, if your allies are going to die, you get more speed with Spirit Haste. This is good for Artak, particularly for other builds that he would do. Or you can just try and apply your burns for a longer duration. So I'm going to go with this because I'm going to use him in other content as well, like dungeon content, where some of my team might actually die. Right, let's get on to the build then. We're going to start with slow build. Okay, so we're going to try and go as slow as we can and hit as hard as we can. So what you want really is as much crit damage as possible, 100% crit rate, and then whatever the damage stat is. So for Artak here, his damage is all based on his HP level. Okay, so we want to go high health, 100% crit rate, as much crit damage as we can get. So we're basically looking for crit damage gloves, as high a star rating as we can. And ideally, we want to get crit rate. Let's go in the fitting room. Yeah, we want to get crit rate as a substat so that we can this side, so that we can gain enough crit to get up to that 100%. Okay, so let's just have a look at what we got. Now, cool thing here, since I did this video last time, is I could literally say, give me a high crit rate level and hide set filters. So this is my best pair of crit damage gloves with my highest crit rate roll. So, and it's already rolled to level 16. So that's going to save me silver in terms of re-rolling. If you don't want to steal from someone else, you could literally just be like, right, well, what does this one look like? Also, does it have HP on it? Because HP is going to be our other damage stat. So it might be for this one, for example, you roll it to level 12 to see if you can roll some HP or some speed or whatever. It like depends what you need. But we're going to, for my sake, steal from Kael here. Or shall I? Maybe I'll keep Kael's gear. So I want to show you Kael actually as a separate one shot. So we're going to take those up to 16. I was hoping for HP there, didn't get it. We're going to look at, because we're going slow and high damage for both the boots and the chest, we're going to look for a primary stat of whatever the damage stat is for your champion. So for this one, we're going to go HP, still keeping crit rate as high. And I might just say crit damage as a medium. But what it should do is give me my best HP roll piece. Damn, that is a great piece right there. With crit rate on it. And same thing for boots. Yeah, because we're going slow, but we're going to do a bunch of damage. Notice that I don't really care about sets here. If I could get the bonus of having great sets as well, I would do it. But on this free-to-play account, it's unlikely that I'm going to be able to do that. So I'm kind of concentrating on other things. Just checking out, I've got a 6-star pair of boots here, which I've actually got some crit rate on them. It's only 3% less crit rate than what I've got right now. And it's going to give me an extra 10% HP. So I'm actually going to switch to those that already rolled as well, which saves me some silver. Okay, we're then going to look at the other pieces. So again, we've got crit rate as high, then crit damage. And I guess I'll put HP in that kind of like median camp as well. So we're going to see what we can find. 6% crit rate here. It's not a lot on a helm. 16% here. This one feels like it's more likely. I'm trying to pump as much as I can. This one's got crit rate, crit damage, and HP all together. And still possible for another roll. We're going to take that one up another level. Another bit of HP. Great. Better. And what you want to be looking at is, if you've got something like Immortal Gear and there's a second piece of the same gear type, then sure, that would be a good one, especially if it's like an HP boosting piece, and that's going to be good to boost your damage up. But if there's nothing in the kind of mix of what you're after, then forget the sets. Just get your best pieces on your champion. This one looks good as well. So I only need 3% more crit rate. So I can tone down this now to just being low, but I do want it on there. So this one gives me crit rate, crit damage. Yeah, this one looks good. Okay, so see that? I've only got one set. And the set doesn't mean a lot, but 100% crit rate, near enough 62k health, and then 253 crit damage. Equip that bad boy and see what we can get done. I'm going to upgrade that to 16 as well. Gives me more health. Piece is damn insane anyway. And then you want to be glyphing wherever your damage stat is. So HP for me doesn't have to be your biggest glyphs that you own. Just make sure that you put some glyphs on it. Yeah, you want to make sure that you're pumping the area that's going to do the damage for you. So we're going to go up here as much as I can in stats. Something like a flat HP. I'm just going to use my big ones because it's not often that I care about those that much. Whereas the percentage ones are a bit more critical. Nothing's boosting my damage there or there or there. Okay. I've also got HP ring with HP roll. It's not a great one, but it is all I've got. Crit damage on your amulet. And then I've still got accuracy on the banner because I do want to use him in other stuff with his kit. But you could just go HP or whatever your damage stat is on the banner as well. Yeah, so if I had just a HP with HP percent on it, that would give me more damage than this one currently does. But again, you've got to think, am I going to be using this champion for other stuff other than just the campaign farm? So let's get this build into our 12-3 Brutal and let him loose. Obviously, you get your food in there as well. And because he's only going to go once, but everything he does is AoE. So I'm hoping that we just slam through. Only just. Remember, the stats of these enemies was like 22 odd K or so. But 6-second campaign farm. Number 1 done on the free-to-play account. Yeah, it's not like I'm on my main here. This is the free-to-play. Okay, pretty successful build 1. Let's go for a build 2 here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to lap their team. So this is a kind of build where really I could only use him as a campaign farmer because he's so slow. But if you go above 200 speed, then actually he's really useful in other content as well. So we still want the consistency. The masteries would not change. But now what we need to do is just flip into faster gear. So we're going to be looking for speed on the boots. Still looking for that kind of crit rate, crit damage, ideally. I don't want to lose my 100% crit rate. So we're going to try and do this. The gloves and the chest pretty much would just stay the same. But now I need to get to a couple of hundred speed. So speed becomes more important than the crit damage and the HP. And you probably would want to try and look for speed gear if you've got it. Just, you don't have to. Like perception gear, speed gear, something that's going to buff your speed up would be useful. I'm not going to steal from my like my High Katoon, who's my arena speed champion, but you could. So Kael here, I'll lose me some crit. Let's just see what this does. Gain some crit back. Perfect. Okay. So I'm up 207 speed. See the way we've done that? We've put basically got 4 speed items, 2 random pieces. Doesn't need to be a set. I've gone over the 200 speed. I've kept 100% crit rate. It's basically cost me some health and it's cost me crit damage. But this build now is usable in arena, in dungeons, like all over the place. So although it's still going to be a good campaign build, it's going to also be useful in pretty much any other content. And this is obviously where most of us would be with our raid careers, right? With our raid life. So now you'll see we're going to lap the speed of the enemies, but we're still going to do colossal damage. So 1 weak hit, that was the weak affinity for me there. So it ends up being double hit, 7 seconds instead of 6. What a tragic day to lose 1 second on my farm. But now we've got someone who can farm everywhere and anything in the game alongside the rest of their squads. So much better build if you're just generally going to be throwing that champion into other dungeons as well. So at time of recording, everybody is getting their free Artak, yeah, which means he is just going to be the one you should use because he's so good. But you might be using him for something else. You might not want to use him for this. So let's just talk about a few others in the game where you might just do their kind of like specialist campaign build and never change it. Probably the one that most people talk about, most people like. I always forget what faction it is in. Demon Spawn. Yeah. So Fellhound here. If you build with enough defense and damage, we're always just A1. Yeah. So he's got other abilities. Won't use them. We're just A1. Void Affinity Champion, and it'll just nuke all of the waves. Yeah. So Fellhound is a great one. Again, 6-second farmer. Another 6-second farmer who's a completely free champion to get is Saurus. Again, don't be baited into going after Saurus and building this out if you're new to the game, because you're better off just building your KO out. Build your KO out, or whoever your starter champion is, unless you're going to use Artak, yeah? Because to level 60, get Masteries on someone like this, it's a luxury over just having your starter champion doing it. But yeah, Saurus is definitely up there as well. Another great one is Bellower as an epic. Does a similar job to what Artak does because he's got all AoE hits. Kind of like the one which most people talk about because this is her only job. Although some people are trying to tell me there's something else going on. Where is she? Yeah, Queen Eva. Queen Eva has got this A3 that just resets. And she kills the whole wave super fast. Again, it's no quicker. It's no better than what I've just shown you. But that's pretty much the only thing she can do in the game. So it might be worth kind of sending her into that mode. I guess I'll end by just showing you like a starter champion type of build. The builds honestly are the same as what you've just seen. The main difference would be you get an extra 15% chance to crit on the AoE hit for someone like a Kael. So I only actually need to get to 85% crit rate, which means it's just a slight bit easier to do the builds. So if I was looking for this, I'm either going high damage, remember, or high speed. Someone like a Kael, I'd prefer to be quicker. So pretty much what I'm looking for is speed high, crit rate medium. And I'm probably going to need to use a couple of speed items. So looks like I don't have any with crit rate on them, which is a problem. So then you kind of think, well, I can't use what I want, so I can try and find others. I don't need any more crit at this point. I just need a lot of speed. I'm not going to get to my 200 speed. See this? I'm just not going to get there with this current build. If I can get a couple of speed items going. No, those gloves are good. Let's have a look at a chest here. Have a look at an attack percent chest. So with someone like a Kael, you want attack percent instead of HP percent. Attack percent with speed and crit rate. Yeah, it doesn't feel like I'm going to get up to the kind of the dizzy heights of 200 speed with a Kael. So we're just trying to do a more, I guess, a more free-to-play-esque version. Yeah, someone who's a bit newer into the game might be looking to do a build. Let's just forget the speed. Crit rate is the want here. What would I take from anyone in my clan boss team? Okay, this has got a good potential. Okay, that's nice. Try that one on. Gets us to like 179. We're over the 85% crit rate. Still got good crit damage. Just equip that for now. You'll see here we've got attack percent on the chest. We've got crit damage still on those gloves. We've got attack percent on the boot. So if I wanted to go quicker than the 200, I could do it. This will give me a lot more damage. I guess I'll just show you. This is basically an arena build. I'll show you his masteries as well quick. This is an arena build that could double up as a campaign farmer. But it's not got the consistency, so it's not going to be as quick as the Artak build I've just shown you. Still going to be decent though. So we're not lapping, which means that we probably will take a hit or something. Doesn't really matter. And this is kind of where you start until you can do what I just did. He will get reduced cooldowns with that A2 because of his kit. His kit naturally does it. And the masteries will do it as well. So we still end up as a 16-second farm, 15-second farm. Just following that kind of guideline. And it will be consistent. Like, it will never fail with that type of build. So look, there you go, guys. Hopefully that was useful. It's one of the most important things you can do in the game. I've got to say, Artak does it as well as any champion that exists. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you later.